ฮัลโหลสวัสดีครับ
พี่โดโดสวัสดีครับ
ไงบ้างสบายดีนะครับผมสัมภาษ
ก็
ณ์วัน
สบายดี
ที่เท่าไหร่
ครับ
สัมภาษณ์วันที่เท่าไหร่
วันพุธเนี้ยครับวันพุธที่
อ่า
24ครับ
สัมภาษณ์กี่รอบอะครับ
รอบเดียว15 นาที
โอเคน่าจะพร้อม alright นะครับso อ่าเดี๋ยววันนี้เนี่ยเดี๋ยวพี่จะให้ดูแค่5 ข้อนี้ก่อนแล้วก็ลองเทรนดูแล้วกันนะครับแต่จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยเราก็อาจสามารถพูดได้ เอ่อจริงๆแล้วตามที่เราส่งมาเนี่ยมันเป็น core content ที่แบบว่าให้ดูประมาณถ้าที่พี่ดูแล้วเนี่ยมันจะมีอยู่ประมาณscope นะฮะตัวแรกก็จะเป็น self introduction แล้วก็ talk about yourself is that right แล้วก็ตัวที่สองก็จะเป็นแบบ area knowledge set ใช่ปะเป็นแบบแนว VCO ที่อยู่ต้องไป explain หรือว่า simplify concept something พวกนั้น แล้วก็ตัวสุดท้ายพี่คิดว่าน่าจะเป็นแบบ ability to speak หรือว่าดู overall ภาพรวมมากกว่านะครับว่าเป็นยังไงบ้างอ่ะเดี๋ยวลองฝึกประมาณนี้ก่อนแล้วกันนะพี่ไม่แน่ใจเหมือนกันว่าจะยังไงบ้างเดี๋ยวลองเทรนไปก่อนแล้วกันนะ alright so for this one, right, so we can see from this kind of activity just because it's about the interview here, right? So direction here, just choose to you have to cover for 5 questions here, right? But we can start one by one here, right? All right. So first of all, I just want to ask you one by one first, and after that, when we finish for 5 questions here, and you can just let's say like sum up all of the questions here and just talk about yourself by continue or keep saying keep talking that cover for 5 questions here, right? It's okay. Ah, okay, so we can
โอเค
start from the first questions here. Do you think leadership skills is important in your opinion and how? Yeah.
For my opinion I think that leadership skills is very important
Mm-hmm.
because it can a good leadership skill can make our subordinate to follow follow the leader obediently and it it can inspire our subordinate to have more passion to do our work and achieve success the
Mm-hmm.
success. Yeah, and I think that one of leadership skills that is the most important
Mm.
in this competition is about the empathy. Um, the empathy that I mean is about the ability to understand other people. The reason that I think empathy is really important for leader in this competition is because um all of the competitor need to have a responsibility to the team to answer the question correctly in order to gain score for the team and
Mm-hmm.
a and sometimes if the our teammate do do a question wrong and not get the score I think that
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do is to show empathy that we understand that no one can be perfect and get all correct answer sometimes we have to face something that we don't know and what is important is to learn about the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Great.
I think that this will make our teammates have more inspiration to achieve our
อือฮึทีเนี้ย sorry เดี๋ยวพี่จะให้เราทำเทิร์นเทคกิ้งเมื่อกี้พี่ถามเราแล้วเดี๋ยวผมถามพี่กลับขึ้นมาแล้วลองแต่ว่าพี่จะตอบเป็นเวอร์ชันของตัวเองนะให้เราดูเฉยๆว่า performance การตอบประมาณไหนอาจจะไม่ได้ perfect ขนาดนั้นโอเคป่ะเดี๋ยวผมถามกลับเป็นทำ turn taking so you can ask the first question to me please yeah
Do you think leadership skills is important and how?
Well, I think that leadership skills can be very important to every aspect of the work. To me, I am a teacher, so I think that I should have a strong leadership skill just because I have to plan ahead what I want to do in that role. And sometimes, like I did, leadership skills is kind of like how to cooperate with other people with effective communication, as well as the way that we have to instruct other people to understand from the complicated thing to simplify something to be easy to understand. So I would say that a leadership skill in my professional career is kind of like I have to carefully plan what I want to deliver in this kind of instruction, as well as I have to monitor the progress of the other people, as well as my student, even myself, to be better too. Um, Although I think that leadership skill can be practiced through time and consistent, see yourself as well as understand other people too. So for my career and profession, I think leadership skill is one of the most important thing that I have to, perform in this job and to be better. Yep. Thank you ประมาณนี้นะครับทีนี้เดี๋ยวพี่ให้คอนเซปต์ไปก่อนนิดนึงเพราะเราสัมภาษณ์คำถามพวกนี้เนี่ยมันจะเป็นคำถามพวกแอดวานซ์เพื่อดูกึ่นดูเขาเรียกว่าดู ability to think นิดหนึ่งนะฮะซึ่งมันจะมีอย่างเงี้ยมันจะมี3 pattern เดี๋ยวพี่เล่าให้ฟังก่อนเขาจะถามเป็นquestion ทั่วไปนะครับเช่นชอบอะไร hobby อะไรชอบอ่านหนังสือไหมโน่นนี่นั่นไปตัวที่2ก็คือจะเป็นในเวของ content matter พี่ไม่ค่อยห่วงเท่าไหร่เราก็อธิบายไปสมมติว่าเขาโยงมาให้เราพูดเรื่อง let's say ว่า cardio whatever I don't know right in to be more specific I can say แล้วก็ตัวสุดท้ายเนี่ยก็จะดูว่าแบบเราสามารถ adapt หรือว่า ability to integrate นิดหนึ่งนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นพอผม expect คำถามที่เขาจะถามเราในวันจริงที่เราสัมภาษณ์เนี่ยมีอยู่ประมาณ3 scope ก็คือเรื่องทั่วไปเรื่อง detail content แล้วก็เรื่องแบบเขาเรียกว่าเรื่องแบบดูว่า critical thinking เราเป็นยังไงบ้างแต่พี่คิดว่าตัวที่3เนี่ยเขาจะดู performance ในเรื่องของการพูดเป็นหลักนะฮะประมาณนี้ Okay, good. So moving to second question here, right? Okay, so we can do turn taking. I can ask you for the second question here. How can you handle difficulties in your work or in your study? Actually, yeah.
For me, I think that the way to handle difficulty in my work is firstly I need to believe in myself that I have a potential to do the difficult work to achieve it perfectly, but it may require time for me to train myself in order to achieve it. But first, I need to believe that I have potential to achieve it. So after that, after I believe in myself, I can go train, go do something that can make my work feel easier. Maybe by learning more lesson that is related to the work that need to be done. And after that, I will try to do the work first. If I still think that the work is too difficult for me to achieve at that time, I go back to review the lesson more and more and and after that I will try the work again.
I see. Right, good. Thank you so much for sharing here. Okay, so your turn to ask me.
How can you handle difficulties in your work?
Well, I do believe that every task, every job, every responsibility may face some difficulties to some extent, to some level of difficulties. To me, what I can handle from work complicated or even difficulties that I can encounter or experience in my job in the daily routine is that I have to identify what the task is complicated in what level first. and then I have to carefully research a bit more detail, which is relevant to what I can handle it, especially for the subject matters. For example, in my job teaching, I have to say that I have to read a lot before I deliver my lessons to my student, and some kind of a content that I have to teach for my student is a little bit challenging or even complicated. So what I need to do is that I have to simplify in my own version first. When I got every detailed information there, and I think I completely understood what I want to say or teach to my students. So I think that this is the way that I can handle for my difficulty by ingesting for some difficult into an easy way to get understandable. And another part of my difficulty is that dealing with people. So I would say that effective communication is an integral part, and it is essential skill that everyone have to practice or to be master in the professional level of career. So I think that to my part, I'm still working on it. Just because I do believe that effective communication, it depends on the context or the situation that I have to deal with this kind of difficulties may face. But overall, I would say that handling the difficulties can happen to every type of job. But I do believe that if we or all of us understand what is the problem or difficulty there, and then we try to identify and see the possible solution there, I think it may work to deal with this kind of problems together. Yeah ประมาณนี้นะครับดูเป็นไกด์เฉยๆทีนี้เนี่ยพอเราเปิดเนี่ยมันจะมีอย่างนี้ครับคือทิปอย่างหนึ่งก็คือว่าอยู่ต้องเปิดให้แบบฮุกก่อนมันคล้ายๆกับเอเซนิดนึงนะฮะฮุกปุ๊บแล้วก็ลงดีเทล supporting detail โดยการยก example เป็นหลักนะฮะอันนี้เผื่อว่าเขาถามดีเทลอย่างเช่นแบบพี่ไม่แน่ใจนะว่าเขาจะถามคอนเทนต์ประมาณไหนสมมุติเขาถามคอนเทนต์แล้วกันให้ผมพูดท็อปิกกับ let's say ว่าcan you describe let's say the concept of cardiovascular system สมมุติอันนี้ไม่ทราบนะฮะเดี๋ยวลองไปแยกทีนี้ผมต้อง mention topic ก่อนแล้วก็อธิบาย generate idea ไปแล้วก็ปิดนะครับมันคล้ายๆกับ essay อะไรที่ intro detail information แล้วก็ conclusion อันนี้คอนเซปต์นะมานี้ alright next so moving to next question here so have you ever made mistake and how can you handle with those mistakes or problems happen to your life yeah
Indeed, I believe that every people need to once made a mistake, and that include me too. Especially when it is something like yes, I always reduce my accuracy quite a bit, and this result in me making about how I handle it. I think that I just need to practice more about the speed test. I believe that is the thing that we can improve by practicing it more frequently, and this will make me focus more on the detail at fast time, and this can result in that I make less mistake than before. Yeah.
Great. How do you feel when you did some mistake or did some error to your study, or you did maybe it happens to you that you did you get a lower score that you didn't expect that you get it, and how do you feel? How do you handle with this kind of feeling? Yeah.
At first, I feel angry at myself that I don't have more accuracy when I do the test and lost some point to some nonsense thing. But after that, I realized that every human need to have an error once in their life, and we can't become something that is perfect all the time.
I see.
So
Yeah.
it's normal that we once need to do need to have less accuracy than usual and do some nonsense mistake. However, we can reduce this nonsense by just practicing it more and more. So we can we can reduce our error by by our error by something that shouldn't have be error by by practicing it more, and
Mm-hmm.
this can lead to our accuracy be higher than before.
I see. Thank you so much for your sharing. So you mainly focus on consistent practice can change, your failures to become a better, right? Okay, great. Okay, your turn. Ask me, please.
If you ever made mistakes, how could you handle with that?
Well, I do believe that everyone has ever made a mistake, and it depends on the situation or the perspective that everyone can see that how the mistake can change your life in what way. To me personally, I can say that I did a lot of mistake, but I see as those mistakes become my setback or become my failure and that I want to improve myself to be better. So what I handle with those mistakes is that I try to remind myself that it won't be happen again if I did a mistake. For example, I used to let's say like in my communication or even working life, I used to judge other people before I know something in in a perfect way. So sometimes like I did a mistake just because I misunderstand people and what they did, what they thought, or even what they try to act to me during that time, right? So in this way, just because it was my mistake, so I have to acknowledge or even accept something like this first, and then I just see that it is a past action that we cannot even avoidable, right? We cannot even avoid it. So to me, I see that those kind of mistake as a lesson learned, just because I think we should learn something from the past experience, even it is mistake. But we have to see. I mean, personally, I have to set a goal in the maybe a bright way or a positive way instead of seeing that those mistakes can ruin your life later. For my professional way, I think it's all about like what we have to remind ourselves that we did something wrong and try to improve it to be better. Yep. วันนี้ It's great, right? Okay, next เดี๋ยวเราจะวนนะเดี๋ยวได้ให้ผมรวมทั้ง5ข้อนะแล้วก็โซโล่ยาวเลยนะครับ All right, next I think for a question can again, right? Can you describe your weakness, right? So you can choose only one that you think it can be possible for your weakness. Yeah. Yeah.
About my weakness, I think it is that I always feel a lot exciting when I do something that I have never done before. And this the too much exciting can lead me to to reduce my judgment and my accuracy on the test. So it may reduce the effectiveness of my brain a little bit. However, I think that again, this weakness can be overcome by practicing like the real test. Maybe do something like my exam can help me a lot, and once I have done it one time, The second time I will have a lot lower exciting than before.
I see. So you try to make sure that once you happens to the failure for the first time, right? And then you try to improve it by consistently practicing on the way that you can make it to be better, right? And you just found that it works for you once you consistently practice and then it become better. Am I right? Things like that, right? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, your turn, please.
Can you describe your weakness?
Well, talking about my weakness, so one of the most that I thought so far that it can become to be my weakness. One of my weakness is that I it's hard to me to holding on. I mean, to waiting something for long, right? Personally, I think I consider myself as I'm a kind of a person who really be consistent and persistent somehow. I mean, I dare to do lots of things. I dare to face with difficulties or some kind of challenging. But what I found in my life during professional working, right, or even my lifestyle is that I cannot see myself to to practice about holding on. I mean, how to hold on, how to wait something, right? Just because I think this is might be one of the most that I want to improve, and I see it as my weakness. So I think that what I can improve my holding on is that I have to practice myself to be much more relaxed. And I would say that the most productive way to handle with those kind of difficulties or even challenging tasks or unexpected situation is that I need to practice about how to let it go or even how to just relax. And then this is one of that it takes time. So if I can master for ability to holding on, I would say that I think it could be a better version of myself too. Yep. Great. All right. Next อันนี้ไม่แน่ใจว่าจะเกิดขึ้นหรือเปล่าแต่so for the last question is that what will you expect on work-life balance? I think I should change to you in order to make sure that it might be relevant to your context, right? What do you expect on professional life, professional academic life in your ideal, in your opinion here? Okay? Yeah.
For me, what I expect is to practice a lot of question
Mm,
and the criteria of the test, so that I can have more experience about how to do the test that is quite strict test and to have a lot more accuracy than before, which will lead me to do better at the real test, which I really want to do it. And the one more thing that I want to do is to help the team as much as I can to get more score for the team and make the team have more chance of winning because of me. That is in my idea. And in order to reach this goal, I need to practice a lot and read a lot of lessons too. And indeed, this will reduce some of my free time, but I really don't care about it because I really like to go to the competition.
You mentioned that the ultimate goal for you in professionally academic life is that you want to build your team up and winning this kind of competition altogether. Is that right? And also that you just really want to help your teams and keep carry on practicing or even working on altogether. And you just expect that even you can lose or even drain for some time to keep practicing here, but it doesn't matter to you just because you do believe that it is expected goal for you that you want to reach up as a winning from this competition, right? Things like that. Is that right? Okay, good. Okay, your turn for
Yes.
me, please.
What will you work on life balance?
Work-life balance, right? Professional life balance.
Or
Well,
both professional life academic?
that is okay. That's okay. I heard that. Well, I think that work-life balance can happen to everyone, but sometimes like the definition of balancing your life and your work might be different from person to a person. To me, I can say that if I can divide my working life, professional life, to be balanced with my free time or even leisure time, right? I have to say that I think I have to, plan beforehand. And I have to say that I have to commit it to whole of responsibility or even accountability that I have to work for. So I would say that it is a must for me to sacrifice to those kind of working life. Uh-huh. And also just expect that this kind of work is reflect the way that your life going on. And I have to say here that everyone have to see that you're gonna have a free time, right? But sometimes like a free time for other people may happen to just because it may happen to the work life in the daily routine too, just because if that work is considered as their preferences, their loved one working life. So I think that the free time should be added or should be considered is a part of working life too. So overall, I think that my work-life balance would go for how to balance my lifestyle with happiness as well as satisfaction. Sometimes, like if I don't have much free time, but I feel enjoying working, with my work, so it it count as satisfaction already. So I think that maybe work-life balance depend on people perspective. So to me, I would say that working professionally it can be considered as you achieve your goal and you have a time with your own happiness here. Yep. Things like that, right? Okay ประมาณนี้นะครับเดี๋ยวพี่ถามต่อเป็นดีเทลคอนเทนต์แล้วกันนะครับเอ่อ พี่กำลังคิดอยู่ว่า what is different between chemistry and biology เกี่ยวไหมง่ายๆก่อนนะ simple ก่อนเพราะพี่ไม่ทราบว่าจะถามอะไรแต่ว่าพี่ถามง่ายๆก่อนเผื่อว่าผมจะ extend knowledge นะฮะได้ไหม alright what is different between biology and chemistry okay just simple form yeah
Well, although biology and chemistry sometimes can overlap each other, the main core of it is different to each other. In chemistry, we focus about how each molecule interact to each other and produce some. And we also focus on about the mechanism how each reaction work in each molecule. However, in biology, we focus on organism about the cell or some like that. about how their mechanism work in order to make them survive.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can say that chemistry is the basic of the biology, but
Mm,
biology focus more on the organism more than molecule itself.
mm-hmm. I see. All right. Um, let's say I do understand that in the subject of physiology, it's all about the the integrated of a subject matter in a science, right? Especially for bioscience, right? Can you can you explain the application or even how to be applied from neuroscience into physiology? Is that overlap or is that correlated to each other? So the key term is that
Um,
neuroscience and then physiology. Yeah.
yes, neuroscience overlap to physiology a lot. In neuroscience, in neuroscience physiology, it is about how each new our nerve cell, or we can say it neuron, how our neuron work to each
Mm-hmm.
other to communicate to the brain to sense the information that we receive from our body, and how our body nerve cell react to the stimulation. It is something like this, and it and we also focus on the mechanism of how each of the communication between nerve cell work to each other.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you so much for your clarifying. One more question is that it happens to me that I read some article it is about neurotransmitters, right? But
Oh
I have
yes,
no
yes.
idea about that much. Can you explain the types of neurotransmitters that people, that happens to human? Okay, let's say you can start from the types
Um,
of neurotransmitter, and then after that you can talk about the function or the interaction or what kind of the purpose of that in each neurotransmitter here. Okay, yeah.
yes, indeed. The neurotransmitter is the substance that one nerve cell send to the other nerve cell in order to make communication to each other.
Mhm.
Before this, I need to mention that I there will be two nerve cell that I will talk about. One is called the pre neuron, which
Mm,
is a neuron that is neurotransmitter, and the other neuron is called post synaptic neuron, which
mhm,
is a neuron that receive the neurotransmitter from the former one. First, when the presynaptic neuron receive sensory information from our body, it will generate the neurotransmitter and send it outside the neuron.
mm,
Um, the space between the presynaptic neuron and postsynaptic neuron is called synaptic cleft. The synaptic cleft is where the neurotransmitter from the presynaptic neuron will go in. Once the neurotransmitter from presynaptic neuron go to the synaptic cleft, it will interact to the postsynaptic neuron receptor, and this will lead to postsynaptic neuron receive the information that from the neurotransmitter that they get from the previous one, and this can make postsynaptic neuron receive information and the communication is success, or maybe the postsynaptic neuron send the information further to the post one. Yeah, something like this.
All right. Okay. So, based on the information about neurotransmitter here, right? What can be applied to
Yes.
the drug or medication that can target to neurotransmitter here? Can you give me some example of drug or medication that can be a part of like a function with neurotransmitter or targeted with neurotransmitter here? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Firstly, the normal if we inject normal neurotransmitter to our body, it will go to the peripheral nervous system, which is about the nerve that control our maybe leg or arm or some other organ. Yeah, it will go into that area instead of going to the brain and spinal system, which is called central nervous system. The reason that the neurotransmitter normally don't go to central nervous system is because the central nervous system consists of the blood-brain barrier, which is a barrier that protects the other
Okay.
substance from outside of body to go inside the barrier. Yeah.
See.
So if we inject some normal neurotransmitter to our body, it will not affect our brain or spinal circuit that much. So if we want to treat a brain disease or something that requires neurotransmitter to the brain, we need to inject something that can penetrate the it isn't penetrate is to pass through the blood-brain barrier. Yeah,
I
without
see.
damaging it.
So meaning that we have to
In
selectively, right? Selectively choose the substances that can be, passed to the blood-brain barrier that you mentioned. Am I right?
yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Okay.
So in history, we don't inject neurotransmitter to go to the brain, but we inject some substance that can become neurotransmitter in our body and can pass through the blood-brain barrier in order to make the neurotransmitter go to the brain.
I see. Great. Uh-huh. It's good, right? Okay, good. So this is all about like, so basically, do you think, okay, let's say like for physiology, is a kind of um, let's say like a subject that can be combined with us, biology or even chemistry, right? So, can I ask that which amount of content that you have to deeply understand between biology and chemistry when you want to be master at physiology?
To be honest, I think that both are important for physiology. But if I need to pick one, I will pick at chemistry.
Ah,
Because if you have a basic knowledge of chemistry, you can it is like a basic of physiology, and you can further improve yourself by trying to understand biology that is in the context of physiology, and this can lead to you become able to understand physiology. On the other hand, if you have a good basic on biology but not on chemistry, um, I think that um, it will let you know how basic physiology works. But when you need to integrate more about integrate problem about physiology, you will have to struggle a lot because in integrating physiology require knowledge to understand the mechanism which use chemistry is
Ah,
more than biology.
I see. But both of these subjects are important to understand the concept of physiology. Am I right?